Well, I don't know if this was the start, but you worked a lot with Herbert Wilcox.
Oh, yeah, I was on a contract. I mean, he was a very gentleman. I mean, to his crew and to everybody else, he really cared for the people.
That's nice.
You know, it was really nice, and he was the first man, as you know, at that time. Sound crews sort of worked with the studio.
Yes. Yeah.
And you couldn't go across.
Yes, that's right.
And Herbert, what I did, I left MGM. I said, I'm not staying with you anymore. And I had a contract with MGM, and after about what they were doing, they were letting me out to people like Fox. I did that wonderful film Night in the City with Jules Dassin, which was absolutely superb, and things like that. And I mean, they were making a lot of money by sort of getting double what I was paid. And fortunately, after about 3 years of contract, they were a week late in telling me that they wanted to renew the contract. So I went to a solicitor and I said, I want to get out of this. He said, yes, you're absolutely in your rights. So I went to MGM, and the director of recording, I said, I'm leaving. He said, well, you can't, you're under contract. I said, not anymore, I'm not. I said, you've missed out by a week for renewing the contract. And he said, well, we'll see about this. And he said, I shall talk to Ben Getz, who was the big American manager. You know. So I was summoned into Ben Getz's office one evening, and Ben said, what's all this? He said, you can't leave. Quite. And he sort of flung at me all sorts of things, terrible things that MGM were going to do. Meanwhile, he was smoking a cigar. He unfortunately got some cigar ash into his bin of papers, and the whole thing went up in flames, which rather spoiled the effect. But I mean, from then on, it was terrible, because what happened, there was one of the sound people at MGM was quite high up on the ACT, and he was ordered to get the ACT members at Shepperton to go on strike if I went and worked there. But luckily, I knew, having done A Night in the City with the...
That's not what unions are for.
No. Having done Night in the City with the Shepperton crew and people like that, you know, it didn't work, because although some people sort of sent me to Coventry and all the rest of it, the few who did know me sort of backed me up, and because Herbert went and did his films at Shepperton, and like The Lady with the Lamp and things like that. I mean, he wasn't. He was just a wonderful man to work for. He didn't do very good films, I suppose, but you know.
She was nice, wasn't she?
Some of this was really good. The one where Anna was a secret agent during the war.
Oh yes.
It's really quite a good film.
Yeah, but she was a nice person.
She was a very nice person. And the sad thing that sent Herbert Wilcox bankrupt was the Beggars Opera.
But
it's Larry Olivier that made me think of that, because he was... I mean, it was tragic.
I thought it was Peter Brook that directed that.
Peter Brook directed it, his first film. I'll tell you a story about Peter Brook in a minute, but first of all, Larry Olivier was made producer of the Beggars Opera. And Herbert and Anna got this wonder boy, the director, you know, Peter Brook, and they went off to Brighton, Hove, or the Hove they used to. They wouldn't live in Brighton, Hove. And they went off and thought everything was all right. I've got
they
Larry.
Did live in Brighton. They live in Lewis Crescent, right next door to me.
Really?
But never mind. Go on.
he said, you know, we've got Larry as producer, we've got Peter Brook, a brilliant director, never mind he's not done a film before. The one thing I can remember most of all about, I mean, I kept going to Olivier and saying, you know, this is absolute nonsense, the way this is being shot. Because what he did, he didn't realise, Peter Brook didn't realise that if you didn't finish a scene, you had to go on and finish it while the set was there.
Yes.
All the sets were just no, packed.
But that's the first assistant.
Yeah.
Surely the first assistant would look after that.
First assistant had given up.
And,
But I can vividly remember. Have you ever seen the film?
yes, I think so. A long time ago.
It's dreadful. You must get the video because it's unbelievable. I can remember Olivier he had to go up a ladder to what's the name?
Well, they hang him at
The
the end.
girl.
Is that,
What's it? Just died recently.
don't know.
Doesn't matter anyway. He goes up to this girl in a loft,
Yeah.
and he couldn't quite manage it, so there was a prop man with a broom pushing his bottom up the ladder so he could make
Oh, dear.
But Peter Brook, you see, he said it was three-strip
Oh God, was it?
camera, and he said, this is ridiculous. He said, all this great camera. He said, I'm not going to have that. I'll take the blimp off. I said, well, you can't take the blimp off. How on earth am I going to record them? So, I want it done that way. So he did it. I said, all right, we'll fix in. So there were crates of chickens on the set because they were sort of let loose.
Yeah.
And I arranged to have a mic put on this crate of chickens and got the prop man to sort of rouse them a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
And the rushes came out, and all you could hear was the roar of the camera and the chickens and the sort of vague dialogue in the background. And Peter said, why is this like that? I said, well, you've got chickens up there. I said, I can't cope with it, you know. And he never sort of tumbled with the idea.
Well, he did then. No, I mean, he was better by the time I knew.
We also arranged, I think it was Tom Buchanan, no, it doesn't matter anyway. The crew, someone on the crew arranged with me to, you know, if you get a chicken and hold it by its wings and turn it like this and put its nose down on a chalk line, a straight line, it will fall over and appear to be dead.
Really?
It paralyses them.
I didn't know.
Oh yes, it's quite well known.
No.
So we did this to all the chickens during the lunch hour, and they came back and all the chickens were like that.
You are really.
The other thing we did was Olivia, as I say, had to do all these songs and insisted on doing it. He had his Russian tutor and all the rest of it. He did it very badly. And it was all down to playback. So what happened, I didn't do this, but it was done during lunch hour. They changed over the playback. Instead of Olivier, they marked it up as if it was Olivier. And first assistant said, playback, turn over. And what happened was, it wasn't Olivier, it was a pawnbroker on the
Lovely. And they had Larry like that.
Not at all.
Funny man.
The pawn shop on the corner, that was it.
Oh,
Pawn
that's
shop on the
right.
corner.
That's
Yeah.
right.